Okay, hi guys, welcome back. So basically, I've been seeing everyone make this video where they, show all of the books that they have read in 2023, and I want to make one as well. I read around 41 books. I don't remember the exact number, but anyways, I'm gonna tell you guys about all the books I read and whether you guys should read it or not. I read a lot of books this year, which were like my favorite, some amazing books. So yeah, okay. I have my reading journal here, so I'm gonna read it, like what books I read and then what I think of them now. Now that it's been a long time since I read them, but okay. So the first book I read this year was Five Survive by Holly Jackson. She is the same author who wrote Good Girls Guide to Murder. I honestly really liked this. It was a quick read. I think I finished it in like a day or two. But yeah, I gave this one, I think, 4.5 stars. So, very good book. Definitely give it a try. A good thriller if you haven't read it. Then, following like that thriller vibe, I read Lock the Doors. These books look very similar, but this one was really nice as well. I liked it a lot. Again, a horror thriller type of thing. So definitely read it if you guys like that. Then I read romance book, Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. I think this is one of my favorite books by her. I haven't been able to like enjoy the new book that she came with, but this one was really nice. I gave it like a 4-star. Amazing book, really loved it. Definitely give it a try. I'm just too lazy to take out all of the books and then film it, so I'm just gonna pull books out from my shelf and then show it to you guys. Okay, then I read To Love Jason Thorne. I think that's how you pronounce this. But this is one of my favorite books of this year. I really loved it. It was a 5-star. I don't know why many people don't like it, but amazing book. Definitely read it. Then I read the last 2 books in the Dirty Air series by Lauren Asher, which was Wrecked and Redeemed. I loved both of these very much. That series is one of my favorite series ever, so definitely read these. As I told you guys, I read some favorites this year. Then I read The Final Offer. This is the last book in the Dreamland Billionaire series by Lauren Asher. Again, really liked it. I think the guy in this book, Cal, was my favorite character. I was a little disappointed. I expected more. It was way too long. The rest were pretty small compared to this, but again, another good read. I liked it. Many people didn't, but it was. I can't hate the series, and so like I'm never gonna. Mainly because it is part of that series, this book was like at a high point. Otherwise, I don't think I would have given it that much of an importance. Then I read Husband Material. This is a second part in the Boyfriend Material book. I don't know. I mean, I liked it. I loved the first book. That was one of my favorites in 2022 or 21 whenever I read that. This one, I'm not too sure. It was just like an epilogue. I don't think this was required, but it was like okay. Then I read this. This is like I think the longest, or maybe the second longest book I've read all year. This is one of my favorite books ever. I love it so much. A perfect book. I would recommend this to everyone. Read it right now. It's amazing. I love it so much. Like this is one of my like 6-star reads, if you will. I just love it so much. Then I read this. This is the second book in the Knock 'Em Out series. After Things We Never Got Over. This is the second book. I really love this series. It is a small town romance. I really like this book. I think like I love the first one. This is definitely a step down from the first one, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that good as well. It was like average, but I really like the series, so yeah. So basically then I read the first 3 books in the Twisted series. So Twisted Love, Twisted Game and Twisted Hate. I think the series is overhyped. I really didn't get the whole vibe. It was kind of irritating, kind of boring. So the first book, not that good. It was like kind of, there was some points where I was like very frustrated because I don't like the characters. I don't like the guy in this book, and the ending was really stupid. So definitely I didn't like that. Then I read Twisted Games. This is actually my second favorite or maybe favorite in this series. Only book that was like kind of bearable, and only because of this I read the third book, which is Twisted Hate. I didn't like this book. It was kind of irritating. Again, I didn't like the female character in this. Brother's best friend, and then this is like a princess bodyguard romance. Then this is sister's best friend. Again, I don't know. I don't recommend it to anyone because it's just kind of boring. But yeah, the second book is good though. Then I read First Die at the End. This is the second book in They Both Die at the End. So basically it's like a companion novel. It is not connected. But I really like this. I cried. I remember crying reading this. This was like a 5-star for me. I loved it. Both of the books were amazing. I didn't cry in the first part. Like it was okayish. I felt sad. But this one I cried. I remember. I have a photo of me crying. I'm not gonna put it though. But yeah, then I read this one. So basically this is like a prequel to the Good Girls Guide to Murder series. It's around 100 pages. I don't know, I mean, it was okay. There is no rating. This is like a small book. I just read for fun, and I bought it so that I could have like the complete series with me. So yeah, then I read X's and O's, and I really enjoyed this one. This was Friends to Lovers. I really don't usually enjoy Friends to Lovers because they're just not done correctly most of the time, but I really love this one. I think I gave it like around a 4-star. So yeah, this one was good. Okay, then I read Loath to Love You by Ali Hazelwood. I really love this one. So basically these are 3 books, like 3 novellas combined together. I loved the first one. Second one was okayish. Third one was good as well. I mean, I really like this book. Quick read. I read it in like a single day. I would definitely recommend everyone to read this. So good. Loved it. Then I read The Maidens, like a thriller sort of. This is from the same author who wrote The Silent Patient, and I loved Silent Patient. It was one of my favorite books. But this one, I don't even remember what it was about. It was boring. It was not fun. The Silent Patient was very fun. Kept me on my toes. This one, not so good. Don't recommend reading it ever. So after that, I read Icebreaker. This is one of my favorites from this year. 5-star, no miscommunication, amazing book. I loved it so much, like so much. Definitely give it a read if you haven't already. I read Happy Place by Emily Henry. So, okay, I'll be honest, I did not like this book. I saw everyone was crying and whatever. I mean, this book had some amazing quotes, but it was just not the one book for me. My favorite Emily Henry book is still gonna be Beach Read. I don't like this much. I mean, I understand why people liked it because I have it like highlighted a lot. I love it. The quotes were amazing, but the miscommunication is what annoys me. I don't like that, and this was all. It was like a miscommunication trope, so I did not enjoy it. After that, I read Rock Paper Scissors by Alice Feeney, and I really loved this one. It was so fun, quick read. I love reading thrillers because you can finish them so fast. So yeah, I really like this one. I think I completed it in like 2 to 3 days. If you love reading thrillers, that one is for you. Then I read Never Never by Colin Hoover, and this was actually one of my favorite books this year as well. I really love the concept of it. So basically, like, 2 people, they forget their memories and they try to figure it out together, and it was so good. This is probably one of my favorite Colin Hoover books. I loved this one so much. Give it a read. It was very interesting and different than what I usually read. So for this, I read one of my favorite books this year, which was Better Than the Movies. I DNF'd it in between, like the first time I read it, I DNF'd it. Then I tried it again, and I think this is one of the cutest books I've ever read. I love this book so much, like so much. If you haven't read it yet, please go and read it. This is probably the best thing you can ever do for yourself. Okay, then I read another one of my favorites, Archer's Voice. I cried after reading this like a lot. I loved this book so much. I finished it in like a single day. I loved this so much. The writing the emotions. I love Archer. He's just amazing. Definitely give it a shot if you haven't. These books were like famous. Archer's Voice, I think Archer's Voice was famous in like 2022, 21, and I haven't read it since, but then I read it this year. Loved it so much. Amazing book. Then I read 3 books, and I got like a Kindle around this time on my phone, and I was traveling, so I read The Housemates, which was a good book. I really liked it. Again, a thriller. And after that I read The Housemaid Secrets, which was the second book to The Housemaid. I really love both of these books. They were amazing read, very quick read. I really liked it. I think I gave it like 4.5 stars. Yeah, 3 and 4 stars, so that is good. I really loved it. It is basically like about a maid who's working at this rich family's house, and they do some weird shit, but yeah, it was a good book. I really liked it. Then after that I read The Perfect Marriage, which was again another thriller. I really loved it. It was so good, like amazing book. I also read The Locked Door by Freda McFarlane, which I don't remember reading. I don't remember what it's about. I gave it like 4 stars, but I don't remember what it's about. Maybe if I read like the back of it, I will remember, but I don't. So after The Locked Door, I read this, which is Fourth Wing. Again, another one of my favorites. I loved this book so much. Like this is the first fantasy book I've ever read, but I really enjoyed it. It has like dragons in it. I love this world, like the whole. Again, it was very famous this year as well. So if you haven't read it, check it out now. And it was kind of confusing at first because, okay, as I said, I haven't read fantasy ever, so there were some points which I didn't understand, but it was a good book overall. I liked it. Okay, then I read Twisted Lies. It is the final book in the Twisted series, and this is actually one of my favorites of the whole series. I really loved it. Like, if like compared to the rest of the 3 books, this is probably like the best. And the second one, Twisted Games and Twisted Lies, this is like a stalker romance type of thing. So basically the girl has a stalker and the guy is this rich, like the guy is like a billionaire who lives, and she lives in his building, whatever. All these books like are connected character wise, but you can read them as standalones as well. After that I read To Hate Adam Connor, and I hated this book so much. I loved the first one. I actually really loved the first one, but this one was not it. I think it was just boring, and the girl was not. I didn't like the female character. She was not bearable at all. I love like the single dad trope, and this has the single dad trope, but I didn't like it. I didn't like the writing. It was a bad book. Anyways, after that I read the last book in the Knock 'Em Out series, which is Things We Left Behind. And the guy in this, Julian, he was also one of my favorites, and I was waiting for his book. I liked this. It was like too long, but I really liked it. I mean, it was fun to read. Basically, it was nice. I loved a little enemies to lovers, and it was just so cute. The series is probably one of my favorites ever, so I can never really hate any part of this, but yeah. Then after that I read Behind the Net. So this was another like ice hockey romance, and she's his assistant, I think. Yeah, she's his assistant. I read it really quickly. It was a very quick read, and I really enjoyed it. Like, it was so fun to read. Then I read this, Behind the Net. It reminded me like a lot of Icebreaker, but it was very fun. I loved it. I love a little sports romance. It's very cute. You can never hate it. But yeah. Then I read the Chestnut Springs series. It is one of my favorites ever. I love it so much. So I read it like one after another. So this one, these are like all cowboy, small town romance. This one is Grumpy Sunshine type of thing. It reminded me a lot of Warren Asher's writing, and like Wrecked from the Dirty Air series reminded me a lot of this one. Really liked it. The guy is a bull rider. She comes along with him to babysit him so that he does not get into trouble. They fall in love. Then Single Dad trope, she is the nanny and he falls in love with her. But I read, this is probably like my favorite or second favorite of the series. I really love it. After this is Powerless. These are like childhood best friends, two lovers. I really love this one as well. It was so cute. I loved it so much. The guy reminded me a lot of the guy Julian from Things We Never Got Over. Sorry, Things We Left Behind. Yeah, I really loved it as well. Then I read Reckless. This is the last book in the series and probably my favorite. I love this book so much. I love the main guy so much. I loved Theo. This is my favorite book of the whole year. Loved it so much. I read The Love Wager by Lynn Painter, the same author as Better Than the Movies. I hated this book. I don't understand why people liked it. I read it in like one sitting. It was so bad. But I did finish it, but it was bad. I didn't like it. It was like Friends to Lovers, but it wasn't done right. So yeah, I didn't like it. Then I read I'm Frame. This is like the longest book I have ever read. It is around 700 pages, but I loved this book so much. This is the second part in the fourth wing. So these books are like basically, part of the same world. But I loved this so much. It was really nice. I love the characters. This whole world is really nice. I can't wait for the third book. Hopefully there is a third book. But yeah, loved it. One of my favorites. Then the last book I read, this is like the only book I read in December. It is The Maid. I didn't like it. It was okay-ish. It was not that good. I hope if the ending was a little different, I would have loved it. But the ending was very disappointing. I didn't like it. It was boring as shit. So yeah. Anyways, those are all the books I read this year. I don't know how many I read, but like I'm most probably gonna count and then put like a number here. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope you guys got some like good recommendations. Definitely, I have read like some good books this year. So if you guys want to, you can read and let me know if you have read any of these as well. I'll see you guys in my next video. Like, comment, share and subscribe. See you guys. Bye.